What up, people of Earth? Welcome back to another episode of the CarCast with your gracious host with the most, that guy Nikki. Should I do sunglasses today, guys? You know what? Those sunglasses. I usually do sunglasses because it's sunny out. But today it looks like it's about to rain here in Florida. So, the other day, was watching Joe Rogan with Adam Ruins Everything, and I did a little video about this alpha male thing. But I wanted to kind of actually elaborate more on the whole concept of the alpha male and really why it's super important for our way of life to have a Western society, so to speak. And it all boils down to hierarchy. Okay, on the show with Joe Rogan, Adam, Everything Ruins Adam, star Adam CONover, or whatever the hell this guy is. I don't know, he's the Jerry Maguire kid grown up to me. Human brain, weighs 8 pounds, that's that kid. To me, that's what he looks like. I know that's not the kid, but still, whatever. Anyway, so this guy, Adam, is literally trying to deny science and social science as well, all in the same breath. He's saying that alpha is just a construct, and it only exists, in the wolf family, and that's ridiculous. So, the other day I spoke my piece about it, but I want to elaborate into how this actually affects the family unit and how this affects our way of life now, because let's get down to brass tacks, okay? The other day, it was fun to make fun of this guy because he's just the, Jerry Maguire kid. But in all actuality, what he's doing is actually quite evil. And what the left progressives and all these weirdos over there that think they're in a cult, basically. This is a cult of pseudoscience and pseudo knowledge. And all they're doing is switching, what's important with what's emotionally important. Now we're able to change facts for feelings. Now here's the dangerous part about trading facts for feelings, or feelings for facts, is that when a fact is ironclad, it doesn't change, okay? But feelings do. And see, here's the thing. When you have a feeling scale, that means that scale is subject to change depending on who the beholder is, okay? Now this is a dangerous, very slippery, very just backwards and as the left likes to say, problematic way, okay? We can't do this way, guys. You have to have, when we have laws, blind justice, right? It doesn't care about feelings. Unfortunately, yeah, sure, that person, whatever, but that law was broken, or this thing was wrong, something happened, and the only way to justify the law is to say that it's very consistent. That's the only way we can have a rule of law. We have to have a standard that's set. And if your feelings overweigh facts, then that means you're allowed to move the standard wherever you see fit. And if you're having this mentality that you can do this and that we're allowed to do this and start changing shit around basically because a whole bunch of retards over here feel this way about something, then I'm sorry, we're going to have a really problematic culture ahead of us because we're allowing it, we're inviting it, we're promoting it to happen. We're creating strife in our own fucking country. They say diversity is strength. Okay, in some situations possibly, but in some others it's not. Maybe the diverse cultures in our society that enrich us are great, but the diverse cultures that that denigrate our society and create uproar and unrule and all this and unrest and make civilian life a lot harder, that's not good. So we have to realize that in that situation, it would be factual why we have to choose not to use those those methods because they don't work. I know emotionally it doesn't sit right with everybody, but we can't please everybody, and that's not the point. The point is that we have to be logically and emotionally and factually consistent no matter what, okay? So this idea of alpha male, it's apparent in society, and what I want to go with this, I know we took a long way around. Where I want to go with this is in the family unit, there's definitely a hierarchy, right? You have the dad, and then you have the kids. You know, you have the mom, and you have the kids. Or you have the mom, the dad, the kids, or the dad, the mom, the kids. But that's how the hierarchy is going to go. It's going to go adults, and kids, okay? And if we have guys like Adam CONover over here actively advocating for this concept that there's no such thing as hierarchy outside of the wolf family, then what is it mean to listen to your parents? When you're a 4-year-old kid, what does that mean? You don't have to listen to your parents, Adam? Is that what you're saying? I mean, because this is the logic. I'm extrapolating the logic that is being presented from a guy like Adam here, and I'm presenting it in a new fashion. Now, logically, this is inconsistent because it won't make sense in this scenario. It may like to make sense in this fantasy scenario where there's no such thing as boys and girls. There's no such thing as hierarchy outside of the wolf family or whatever. I mean, if you're gonna seriously advocate these debunkable tropes or whatever, then you're just, you're actively allowing yourself to be subjugated mentally. There's definitely hierarchy. Like I was saying the other day, your boss, you don't have to ask who the boss is at a company. The boss presents themselves as the person who's in charge of everyone. Thus, that's the boss. The guy who's giving everybody orders and taking requests and all this other stuff from everybody, that's the boss, okay? It's not the timid guy, in the back office, shuffling papers around. That's not the boss, okay? The boss is the mover and shaker that gets everybody motivated and moving, right? That's the way it should be anyway. But anyway, the point is, the boss doesn't have to go around saying, hey, listen, guys, don't forget, I'm the boss. Have a good day. Hey, Mike, what's up, man? Don't forget, I'm the boss. Okay? That's preposterous, right? I'm being hyperbolic on purpose because you need to see how silly it is from that perspective, because that's the same logic at play. When you have a kid, right, and you believe that there's no such thing as hierarchy, then that kid's just going to run all over you. And believe me, kids are tenacious. Kids do stuff like, kids are very self-centered in how they think and act. So they're gonna act in ways that are going to need adult correction. Because adults are advocates for a civilized society. And if we don't believe that there's a hierarchy and that the kids need to, to respect their elders, for instance, that's basically what another thing that Adam's saying. He's like, because if a statement like respecting your elders is a statement that understands and is operating under the rule that there is a hierarchy, and that the adults are at the top of that hierarchy, and that the kids are below in that hierarchy. And this is the hierarchy presenting itself in that statement. So, if Adam doesn't believe there's a hierarchy, then he can't admit to that statement either. But anyway, that's just for fun. Hierarchy exists everywhere. And no matter what you do, no matter where you are in life or what situation you are, if there's more than a few people in the room, there's a hierarchy. And that's just the way it is. What type of hierarchy can change? It can change depending on whatever group or objective or whatever that cause is. Like, say, okay, there's 3 people in a room. There's a guy, a girl, and a fat dude. What's the hierarchy? Well, are we looking from a physical perspective, or are we looking from a mental perspective? Are we looking from a who's got the best math skills? Okay, there's going to be a hierarchy in that aspect. Okay, so you might have somebody who's torpy and not strong at all, but they rank higher in a hierarchy based on if the objective or agenda is to calculate math. Right? That makes sense. This is easy and logical, right? So there's going to be hierarchies in every aspect, like the teacher-student. That's the hierarchy. There's a hierarchy in that aspect. In school, like you have the principal, the vice principal, the superintendents, and all these other things. Like there's different hierarchies of power. There's different hierarchies of knowledge, of assets, of whatever. There's always a hierarchy. Always. Like you have 3 cars. Well, what's the hierarchy? Oh, well, I want to drive the car that's the most gas efficient. Okay, so I go with the Prius, which is a hybrid. It gets 45 miles to the gallon. It's ridiculous. And then, but I don't want to drive a Prius. I want to drive my coolest car. Okay, so the hierarchy now becomes a cool, which car is the coolest? Okay, well, definitely the Mustang is a lot cooler than the Prius. So that's going to rank higher in that hierarchy. See what I'm saying? A hierarchy just simply is a way to navigate through a vertical. That's it. That's all it is. So if Adam's denying that, he's denying it for a reason. He's denying it for a nefarious reason, I would imagine, because he's trying to create a narrative that makes what he's saying in the left political side correct. And this is how they do it. When people are making this kind of statement, they're completely ignoring the truth. And anybody that wants to be true and understand the truth is going to see this and say, listen, this guy's not right. This guy, is he stupid? No, he's not stupid, because he's presenting himself with these glasses like he's the like he's the kid from Jerry Maguire. Like he's the Jerry Maguire brainiac, genius know-it-all guy, right? The human head is 8 pounds, blah, blah, blah. So here he is, grown up, and now he's twice as smart, or 10 times as smart, right? No, he's just 10 times dumber. Like, seriously, I love these guys from the left that they present themselves as being so smart and educated and everything, but when you question them, they don't have a clue. Ask Neil deGrasse Tyson about gravity, and he can't even explain it. Well, blah, blah, blah. I'm the scientist, mic drop it. That's the answer. Like, okay, you can't explain to me how it works in any relative terms, even from a scientific perspective. You could explain something in science to me that you may think I won't understand, and I probably will understand it, because it's science. Okay? Anyway, and there's science to this. There's evolutionary biological science that's all wound up in this. There's hierarchies. No matter what. Whenever there's a category, let's just break it down in simple terms. Wherever there's a category, there's a hierarchy, because it's a vertical. I mean, just think about it. That's the vertical. A vertical is a hierarchy stacked on top of itself, and you can go up and down that vertical. So whatever, pick a vertical. Fast cars. Okay, boom. Fastest car on the top, slowest car on the bottom. Those are all fast cars. There's a vertical there. Whatever. Cabernet. We're drinking Cabernet as a vertical of wine. It's all Cabernet. Okay, so what's the vertical? From better to worse. What are those categories? I mean, seriously. It's prevalent everywhere. So for a guy to be so smart, Adam ruins everything. No, everything ruined. It's Adam, because that's basically what's happening here. This guy is just a dumbass, and he doesn't understand fucking science. Are you kidding me? Then you should not listen to anything on this guy's show ever again, because he's proven himself to be a progressive troll. He's just trolling for the progressives who think that they're ahead of the game, but they're bringing us backwards. That's what they're doing. They think they're ahead of the game, but they're actually behind the game. They're pulling us backwards, and that's really what's happening. Like when they're trying to normalize pedophilia, I'm sorry, that's behind us. Okay, we've moved past that kind of thing. What's next? Slavery again? That's it's behind us. We should be moving forward, right? The hierarchy now is forward of getting better. Anyway, that's not really a hierarchy, actually. That's the only example of not a hierarchy that I'm really talking about. But maybe we could find it. Maybe I can reverse engineer it just like Adam. I'll start with the answer, and then I'll form the why afterwards. Anyway, share me, like me, sub, guys. I'll speak to you soon.